Okay, off loudspeaker.
Hi, Chris.
And Robert, you surprised.
Oh,
You took me by surprise. I was just putting on my trousers, doing myself up, put a blusher.
Oh my goodness!
I know.
It's Friday night. Are you going out on the town tonight?
Oh, Rob, do you know what I haven't been in? Dublin, Enniskillen, Hillsborough today.
Jet setter.
So jet setty, Rob. So jet setty. Dublin, I have to say, was good. Dublin was good.
Did you get it?
Well, I don't know yet.
Okay.
I got something. I got a picnic, which was nice, in Paris Court.
Oh, that's always
which was
nice.
lovely. By myself with Lee and the
great.
kids. Yeah, it was nice. And Uncle Jonathan.
Awesome.
Yes. Rob, what do you want to do first? Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Let's talk about the news.
Rob, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't feel your introduction. I look forward to it every week.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Rob.
How are you?
I think I'm okay. I haven't checked my camera, actually, so I could only be half a head or a very small chest. Who knows? But let's just go with it.
But your lighting is perfect, and your audio is perfect, and you're perfect.
Rob, I think so. I think I'm doing, I'm adjusting my mic there. Yeah, I think, I'm scared to cross my legs. I think I am okay. Lighting is, I would never say lighting. We can always improve, can't we, Rob?
Always. Everybody can always improve.
Oh, everybody can. Everybody can.
It'd be a boring world if you were the best.
Rob, remember I talked about starting
something like that?
Do you remember I talked about starting a church? That could be on the hymnals. That could be as they come through the door above an arch. People would buy into it. People have already contacted me about it. I have people wanting to sign up.
The Church of Christ.
The Church of Christ and Rob. Rob, I think I'm veering off the news. I'm doing news.
I think so.
I'm doing news to me, but
this is a big news week.
Oh,
big news week.
You go first, Rob, because I want to hear all about this.
Well, the big news is Canon has pulled their thumb out of their ass, and 2 years later, they have finally come up with something to compete with Sony.
No, don't say it.
In the mirrorless. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, who doesn't want 8K RAW?
I can't afford to change.
8K RAW. Everybody wants 8K RAW. Everybody's got terabytes and terabytes of room on their computers. Well, everybody wants 8K RAW.
Do you know what? Funny enough, you should mention that. While I was in Dublin, I met this man, walking a total stranger, and he turned around to me. I lifted up a stick and he said, "Chris, what do you think of 8K RAW?" First, I was surprised you knew my name, but I couldn't believe he was asking me 8K RAW. Couldn't believe it.
So it's got all the dual pixel autofocus. It's got the. Does it have the dual ISO? I think it has the dual ISO. It's just all bells and whistles. Face detection. It's crazy. Everything is up to snuff.
Do you think it's better than the Sony? From what you can read. The 8K thing is going to swing
I mean, it's what, 45 megapixel? It's a 45 megapixel
How much?
sensor for stills.
How much?
It's $4,000 American.
No.
So what's that going to be, like
36, 34. Yeah, okay.
Somewhere in there. I mean, it's going to be as much as my Sony A7R3 was when I bought it, roughly.
I've told you this before. I hate this type of news. I want it.
It's good news. It's good news.
What's not good news?
Just listen to this.
Yeah.
Because Canon think they drew a line in the sand. Okay? So they've got 8K RAW, they've got 10-bit 422 for video and all this stuff, and they've got, 120 frames a second, 150 frames in North America or whatever. I mean, it's a great video camera. Of course, it only does 30 minutes because it's, consumer body and everything.
Yeah, we don't venture the tax departments there.
Yeah, but if you think about it, 8K RAW. Who's going to use 8K RAW?
No, I know.
I mean, it's a beautiful idea.
No, I know. Well,
and it overheats. It overheats in 20 minutes anyways. You can't shoot for longer.
You can't. Well, that's good news because we couldn't use it for this here. Although there are people out there praying to God that we do buy one because we only want 20 minutes.
So Canon has drawn a line in the sand.
Gosh.
They said, this is our new flagship. This is what it's going to be. We all know that the Sony A7S III is coming out this summer. Mm-hmm. It's not released yet. Well, I'm sure there's prototypes out there. And I'm sure Sony has left room in their firmware,
I would say,
to play with stuff.
Yeah.
So all those codecs, all those different formats that, formats that the Canon is recording in outside of RAW are all 265. 266 is around the corner. Literally right around the corner. They developed it. It's ready to go. Do I smell red wine?
A nice organic Cabernet Sauvignon by Sainsbury's, in case they want to sit with some bottles. I can ship it. Right
along with your Shackleton coat. They're inside the pockets of the Shackleton coat. There'll be some Sainsbury's organic.
Oh, Rob.
So anyways, 266. It's around the corner. Damn well. Better believe that Sony is going to do their best to put 266
no, of course.
on that camera.
Oh, but do you think, I forgot, by the way, that I forgot to change my chair?
Are you squeaking?
I don't think so. I'm being honest with you. I'm not enjoying the first 5 minutes there because I've a sore bum because I haven't moved. I'm going to try and move now and see. It's a wee bit
Chris is going to move his chair, everyone.
It's a wee bit squeaky, but I'm going to try and not move too much. Okay, I'm going to sit still. But you know what? That's good news. It's good news for everybody, I suppose. But at the end of the day, I will probably, I see you had written
I'm not going back to Canon.
You're not?
No, I'm not going back to Canon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Sony, and I've have a 42 megapixel Sony here that I love. Mm-hmm. I have a 24 megapixel Sony that I love.
You've lent me both.
Yeah, and you know what? If it comes to that point where I'm shooting so much video, maybe I buy. No, she's outside the window again, Chris.
No, she's doing stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. She's gyrating her hips.
Right. Well, I'm going to look over to. Remember, you told me to look over to the right more often, so it looked like we were chatting.
She's just out there.
Oh, stop it!
No, I freaked her out. She thinks you're looking.
She's a rascal.
She just ran away. She thought you were actually looking.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. What's the opposite of feminism, Rob? There's the creaky chair. What's the opposite of feminism?
Masculinism.
I love it. Masculine.
Yeah, it's a creaky chair, Chris.
Masculine. I know. It's the only thing that I haven't. I spent hours in lighting. I bought a new mic, as people will be able to see. I forgot about the bloody chair, and now I'm sitting here. I usually kick back and kind of relax, but now every little noise, you're going to be sitting for hours, Rob. Hours. I could do some Morse code.
Don't creep that chair.
Jesus. Do you know this chair?
You might have a great mic now.
I know, the mic's going to pick it up even better. Guess where the chair's from, Rob?
Where?
Bray Hotel. No, Bray Hotel. It has a long, long history. Many holiday bums have sat in this hotel. A famous hotel for lots of TV and film. And it was run by a dear friend of mine's mum and dad. There you go. And it was his gift to me whenever the hotel was sold. And I love it. But I never heard the creaks until now. I look wooden, probably.
I'm sorry, Chris.
I'm going to turn around. Really, really
softly.
Really gently. Like I'm sneaking up on the chair.
So anyways, that's my point, is that all those Sony users out there, don't go fretting over this Canon.
Yeah.
And they're already talking about issues with the silent shutter.
Brilliant.
Especially on the R6. There's issues with this.
Is that what it's called? Shutter. Is that what it's called, the R6?
Well, no, the big one is the R5 and the lower one is the R6. But the R6 has issues with its electronic shutter, the noise coming from it or something. So anyways, of course there's going to be teething problems.
Yeah.
I love Canon. I love Canon.
Banding, perhaps. Banding, of course.
Oh, there's definitely banding. There will always be banding on an electronic shutter like that. until, they somehow figure out a global shutter for a stills camera.
I've partly figured it out, but we'll talk about that again. You and I've copyrighted something, but we'll talk about that.
So that's my first and second story right there.
First and second?
Yep.
What was the second bit?
The Canon.
And then the 266.
266.
Okay, okay.
That's revolutionary. That's cutting this 10 gigabyte file that our vlog is on, this podcast is on, will be 5 gigabytes. Half the size.
Crikey.
Same quality.
No, that is something, isn't it?
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. It's going to cut your hard drive space.
Listen to this, Rob. I'm going to pretend we're in the church of Chris and Rob, okay? And I'm going to say that Canon giveth.
Are you going to sit on the creaky pew?
No, on the creaky pew. Canon giveth and Canon taketh away. See what I did there?
Mm-hmm.
Wee bit of religious.
I mean, Canon, you got to think too. You got to think, okay, so it's 2020.
Yeah.
And the Olympics have been canceled till next year, postponed till next year. The fact that Canon came out with this now.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Like, why did they come out with it right now?
No, I know.
Why did they not wait a little bit longer? Because they know that Sony is coming out in the next month or two to release their new camera. Now, the Sony's not going to be anywhere near 45 megapixels.
No, thank God.
But the video is going to be tremendous.
I love my A9.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
It is
great. I love the Sony stuff. The focus is, I should have changed, 2 years before this.
You should have, Rob. You should have. Somebody said that. I mean, you should have. I'm making me darty movements to see if it can keep up.
What's your first story, Chris?
Rob, my first story is not about Canon or Sony. It's about Bill Brandt.
Really?
Yes, because you know what? I just have been looking at stuff. I have a new class coming up, a new photo book class coming up. Okay, and I've been
Bill Brandt, huh?
Bill Brandt, good old Bill Brandt. And of course, he featured heavily in our Stump the Chump last week. So I thought, let's have some consistency. I can turn my head. I have no directional mic. I can talk.
Yep.
I can talk.
Just don't creak in that damn chair.
Jesus, I'm so sorry, Rob. I'm so sorry. And I'm quite burpy as well. But anyway, listen to this. Photo works. Okay. Now we know this isn't used. Oh, what's happened? Oh, good. Thank goodness it's still there. Okay. #1 Europe. Okay. Bill Brandt. Photography, okay, and it is a look or a relook or a look back at the English at Home, okay, which we know is Bill Brandt's most famous work. Well, certainly my favourite piece of work with Bill Brandt. I know it anyway. But it says here, and this is a nice bit, the early 20th century saw several projects exploring how photography can be used to capture ideas of national identity. Now, that's always a wee bit, you can always be a bit fearful if you hear the words national identity nowadays, okay? But perhaps most famous was August Sander's Faces for a Time, 1929, Rob. 1929. Okay. Okay. So people go and look at August Sander's Faces for Time, which focused on a certain time and place. Okay. Similarly, Bill Brandt's iconic 1936 photo book, The English at Home, is often acknowledged as one of the first attempts to photograph a nation. Okay. So, Bill Brandt comes over from Germany, and he takes into photographing the English at home. It's exactly what it says in the tin. So you get you get just that. You get everything from, and it says here, the labourers working on the farms up to the aristocracy. So it's a really broad range, a really nice in-depth look at Britain 1936. So that's, of course, pre-war, post-war, pre-war. So not the wealthiest time in a nation's livelihood, but whenever you're looking at it, the photographs are, like, the book is exquisitely put together, and it still looks really fresh. So we have, on PhotoWorks here, what we're getting is, and it's courtesy of Bill Brandt Estate. So you're getting a really nice read, okay? It gives you a really nice in-depth chat about about where Bill came from, how he landed here, why he landed here, and how he made the work. And it's landscape, it's portrait, it's it kind of reminds me a bit on Alex Soth. People probably laugh at me for saying that, but there's certain images that kind of give me Leah, you calling me? Leah.
No.
No, I think Leah's outside the door. Leah.
Oh.
Leah. She is, I knew it. I have a sense when she's there. Now, Pat, don't hit the lights. I shouldn't say Pat. People will be, what do you need? Quiet, ended. You're at this is going out to the nation. This is 602 in the world. Don't tell people you're peeing. Go on. And we can hear you whenever you pee as well. There's no shame.
Leave the door open.
Don't leave the door open. It sounds like Niagara Falls. Are we Canadian link there? Do you, Rob? See, I'm so rounded in my ways. So anyway, that's it. Go in and look at it. If you don't know
Bill Brandt.
Yeah, if you don't know the work.
Oh yeah.
If you don't know the work. But also if you think about that with regards to the with and I always worry whenever I say this, but with regards to national identity, okay, it's something that Brexit's kind of foisted upon us. So there will be work made around there'll be more work made around national identity and the pros and the cons and the goods and the bads about it. So nice to go and have a look. It could be educational for sure. So there you go. Good old PhotoWorks and Bill Brandt. The text is by Zamira Zilka. Okay, so it's beautifully written, and it's part of the Photography Plus on the PhotoWorks. So go in, enjoy the site. PhotoWorks is brilliant. It's an education in itself. There you go. That's all I've got to say, Rob. Yeah. Rob, I'm not drinking tonight. I've had a wee tiny drip sip of wine.
I heard that wine open, Chris.
I'm usually into that half an hour before.
The world
heard
that wine open.
602. Is it 602? Am I right? In the whole of art podcast, is that right? Is it maybe fallen down? Maybe it went higher.
It might have fallen down a bit.
Oh. I doubt it, Rob.
Well, not after our next Chump the Stump. It'll go back up.
Christ. Oh, it will. Trust me, it will. I'm not going to go easy on you, Rob. I'm not going to go easy on you. So you know. Do you want me to go again or do you want to go?
Yeah, let me hear your next story.
Okay. WeTransfer. We all use WeTransfer. We love WeTransfer. I couldn't live without WeTransfer, of course. I like lots of stuff about it. I love the design. I love the simplicity, but I also love the photo stories that they are now starting to do.
They're great, aren't they?
Yeah, WePresent is just...
Isn't that amazing? Like they just tack on to that like homepage every time, like something interesting.
Genius. And I mean, you never tire. And I had I wrote to them.
Oh yeah,
of course. Why wouldn't I write to them and try and
get your stuff in there?
Yes, of course. But they're totally up for it, Rob. They're totally up for it. You just you send the stuff away, and they have somebody look at it and see what the crack is. What do you think of that?
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think it's well for me it's one of those things that is it's a kind of a new platform in a sense. I mean, it's forever evolving and changing. And I wouldn't say it's not disposable, but it kind of feels like whenever you go into it, you're going to get something fresh every time. This again is into. I'm quite taken by the national narrative. Get me, my big thinking head. Okay. But I came across this, and it's the plus 65 women of Singapore. Age is not a barrier when it comes to your passion. Okay. Now, first of all, what we have there is, plus 65. I know for a fact that if you are over 65, where do you appear in a newspaper? Where does a positive story appear of somebody? I'll tell you, after page 11, never before on any paper, generally, there's a good news story. Maybe Captain Doodah that did the walk. He got pretty good coverage, but that was a rare event. Okay,
Captain Doodah, who did the 99-year-old.
What's his name?
I think it was Captain Doodah.
Wasn't it?
Captain Funky McBoat
Funky
Boatface. That was it.
We're going to get slated, Rob. Captain Walkie McWalkerson.
That's it. Yes,
that's him. God, there'll be death threats, Rob. Sam and Rushdie and I and you will be sitting in a room playing Snap next week. Holy Jesus.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun, actually, wouldn't it?
That would, yeah. Jeez, I'll bring my camera.
But here's another. We'll talk about that in a wee while. We'll talk about another side effect of course, of Salmon Rusty coming out and a few other people come out to news stories. But anyway, this is a story about the over 65s in Singapore. Singapore, by the year 2035, most of its I'll read it to you. It's also the age of a third of the country's population by 2035. Okay, they're calling it the Silver Tsunami. Okay, yeah. So this story it goes on, and it takes us into a world where we have plus 65s, four strong independent women, talking about how it's going to go, how they're going to go, what their plans are. The photographs are just absolutely incredible as well. Really high color. Where would I see this work? God, I don't know. It's very fresh. Nice portraiture.
Editorial stuff, or
yeah, it kind of is editorial, but it feels kind of documentary. But what interests me is how it's put together. It's the way the page flows is kind of pretty cool. We have these the lady called Biwa. I'm sure it's not pronounced right. With this kind of funky clothing she's doing, and then these really funky posters that she's got made up. She makes clothes. So anyway, the essence of the thing is it's not just about this story. It's a go and look at what we present. I think it's one of those things that can be, you'll either love it or you'll hate it. I'm sure there's purists out there. I think it's trashy, but me not being a purist, I really like it. It's one of those things whenever I'm sending files and you could find yourself sitting for, an extra 20 minutes reading a nice piece of work and then going off into finding photographers from Singapore.
Absolutely.
There you go, darling. What do you think of that?
Well, I'm going to give you one more, Chris.
Oh.
You said WeTransfer?
Yeah.
Photo Shelter.
Oh.
So I know you use WeTransfer a lot for delivering your stuff to clients.
Yeah,
I use Photo Shelter.
Do you know why, Rob? Can I tell everybody why?
Why?
Because you own Photo Shelter. Stop trying to pump your own brands.
No, because I'm paranoid.
Because
I like to know who's downloading the images.
No, because you're professional, Rob. That hurts me to say that.
So if anyone doesn't know, Photo Shelter is a website. Think of it as like the Squarespace for a stock photographer, or just a commercial photographer. Yeah. So what it allows you to do is it allows you to sell images via keywords and metadata and SEO and everything. And it also allows you to deliver images to your clients behind a private wall that you can totally set up with permissions and specified numbers of downloads and time periods. And there's all sorts of criteria that you can do for that. You can set up your, on the other side, where it's public, you can set up your own pricing.
Okay, yeah.
Per country, per region, per use, per market, per everything. So it's very, very, very flexible and comprehensive in that respect. Like
yourself, Rob. You're flexible and comprehensive. We all know that.
That's what she said.
Rob, I was laughing.
And then...
don't surprise me with more out of nowhere.
So you have this great website. It's all so great in theory. It's all great in theory. This side, the client delivery side, works pretty much seamlessly.
Yeah. Oh.
I have the odd problem with clients not being able to log in with a password because they set up a password and they can't remember it.
Yeah.
But that's fine. But this side, the public side, with the stock agency, has always had a problem with SEO. So, who's the dude from Ryanair again? Michael O'Leary.
McFlyerson.
Yeah. McPlane.
Yeah, that's him.
So I took a really great series of photos of him, and there's 2 or 3 really nice ones.
Beautiful.
And they've sold a couple times.
Oh,
They've sold a couple times as stock images.
Okay, holding a plane. I remember the story well.
Yeah. But the problem is if you search his name, Michael O'Leary, stock image, whatever, you're not going to find my image. Because unfortunately, PhotoShelter hasn't really had that sort of construct in their website for proper SEO like that.
Yeah.
They've cured it.
Have they?
They've cured it.
I'm going to go on and look.
They have 10 new steps for photographers on PhotoShelter or photographers who want to come to PhotoShelter to get their images way up on the Google SEO.
I bet you're doing that, Rob, like mad, aren't you?
Well, unfortunately, I have like 25,000 images on my PhotoShelter site. And for me to do these different 10 steps...
hold on, I can do the math. That's
months
40
months of work.
48 months. Just to get.
Something like that, give or take. Yeah.
That's a very interesting story.
But anyways, it's very cool because there is no other site that I know of. And if you know a site, please feel free to put it down in the comments. I don't know of another site that allows you to set up yourself as a stock photographer like that, a freelance stock photographer, independent, and be able to sell your images around the world, seamlessly.
Rob, I have so much stuff I could sell.
It is. It's a great site. And now that they've really opened up this SEO and all the metadata being searchable, I'm fingers crossed it all works out and it sounds great. And this just happened this past week. That's why you've been
in good form, you bollocks, because you're making money and selling stuff. You're a capitalist, Rob. A capitalist, I tell you.
So, Chris, what's your last story?
Last story is probably my best story, and it is, as we know, I just keep coming back to it because it's brilliant. It's Nearest Truth, okay, which is nearestTruth.com. It's just it's right up. It's recordings. It's Brad recording and stuff, talking to people. But here we have episode 45, right, and practically all of those are an education, practical of them. We'll talk about one that's not later on, but for me, it's not. But anyway, 45 is Engström, okay, and he's talking about his new book. Well, he's talking about everything, but he's talking about his new book, Day by Day. And if you don't know Iho Engström's work, go and Google it. Okay, He lives in Paris, and he's not French, but he lives in Paris. And it says here, is an artist from whom I have the most profound respect. And Brad doesn't get gushy often. His continual publishing and art making alongside his leading workshops with Margaret Wallard and Altier Smedsby, goodness me, that's a great name, show what can be done with personal drive. I came across his book, Charles de Gaulle, a couple of years ago, and it is just sensational. So Day by Day, I went in and had a look. I follow him on Instagram. I was going to say we're friends on Instagram. We're not friends on Instagram. I follow him on Instagram. He doesn't know who I am. But the work is just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Right. It's a 90-minute interview, so you can see where that gets. And the reason I love it is, it starts off, Brad, who's so easy to listen to, says about it being it being this. He talks about Charles de Gaulle as being his first book, and Iho's like, it's not my first book, it's my second book or third book. So it's nice. A lot of contradictions, a lot of free speaking, a lot of guys just having a chat. So it's magic. Go into it. Nearest Truth. There's 45 now. There will be more. It's
cool, cheaper
and better than doing a master's. That's a fact. You learn more.
And the description will be down, or
I'll put the links
down in the description.
How much is I'll tell you this really quickly. How much is the artist edition of Day by Day by Iho?
How much?
€800. Oh. Yeah, but you know what? 30 copies. Well, you can get them. There's still a few there. Anyway, there you go.
Thanks, Chris.
Robert.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, well, by the way, I'll tell you about what I'm wearing. Anyway, I'll see you next week.
Bye.
We should do that more often. Yep. On loudspeaker.
Okay, three, two, one.